I wasn't lonely.
Let's get that straight. I had friends, a job that drained me in all the right ways, and a calendar full of things to keep me busy. What I didn't have was closure. My ex, Dennis, was getting married. And for reasons I can't fully explain, that little gold-lettered invitation sitting on my counter felt like a dare. A reminder that I'd lost, that I was the girl he got over. I didn't want to show up alone. Not because I cared, but because everyone else would. So one night, wine glass in hand, I opened a website I swore I'd never use, Rent a Plus One. The slogan was ridiculous, for when alone isn't an option. I scrolled through profiles like I was shopping for confidence. That's when I saw him. Kelvin Grant. Maybe it was the way he didn't look like he belonged there. I booked him. One night, a wedding, a performance. When he arrived at my door right on time, he wasn't what I expected. Not flashy, not rehearsed, just calm. He noticed my hesitation, smiled softly, and said, "Don't worry, I've done this before. So how do we play this?" He laughed slightly. So we decided to rehearse how to be a couple. Like kindergarten kids pretending to be grown-ups. But it was what we needed for the show. Kelvin took it seriously. Too seriously, maybe. He wanted to get the details right, the way my hand fit into his, the pauses between words, the rhythm of laughter that sounded unforced. And somehow, he made it fun. He hummed little tunes, twirled me around the living room like we were in some low-budget rom-com. And when I laughed, genuinely laughed, he grinned and said, "See? You're getting the hang of this." That's when I noticed. He was versatile, smart, effortlessly charming in a quiet way. He knew songs I loved, books I'd actually read. He danced better than anyone had a right to. My kind of man. And I caught myself thinking, what? Who is this guy? We arranged to set out early the next day, wedding day. The car ride was quiet, awkward at first. Then somehow it wasn't. His voice had this ease, like he knew when to fill the silence and when to let it breathe. By the time we got to the wedding, he'd slipped perfectly into character, hand at my back, whispering something that made me laugh at exactly the right moment. For a second, I forgot it was fake. But later that night, when the crowd thinned and the music softened, I caught myself watching him, wondering why a man like that would rent himself out for company. Then he asked me to dance with him. Yeah, we rehearsed that, but honestly, I'd forgotten it was supposed to be acting. Every bit of it hit me with a strange, beautiful sting of reality. I was supposed to smile, pretend to be shy, right? But I actually did that, for real. He pulled me close and we danced, and danced. And for a moment, it felt like magic. My ex, Dennis, was moving around, greeting guests with his new bride, and oh my God, thank heaven Kelvin was there. The perfect show up. And in Dennis's eyes, I saw a flicker of jealousy. Like low, slightly impressed tone. You found yourself a good guy after all. Kelvin was just perfect. Always on time, every response smooth but never smug. And the way he effortlessly clipped Dennis's sarcastic little jokes, it was priceless. And that's when it started. That slow, dangerous feeling that makes you forget where the act ends and something real begins. The morning after the wedding felt unreal, like the world had hit pause. The city noise outside sounded distant, muffled, as if the night before was still hanging in the air, like smoke that refused to clear. I made coffee, but it didn't taste right. I wasn't even sure if I added sugar. Every small thing reminded me of him. The way Kelvin adjusted his tie before we walked in, the calm tone of his voice when he said, "Just breathe," the faint scent of his cologne when he leaned close enough for me to forget it was an act. I told myself it was just good acting. That's what made it so believable. That's what I paid for. But as the day stretched on, the silence grew louder. At work, I caught myself drifting, staring at my screen while my mind replayed pieces of last night, his hand on my back, that smile. The dance. I laughed at myself, out loud, alone, short, embarrassed laugh. It was ridiculous. A one-night illusion, a rented stranger. Still, the urge to call him wouldn't leave. Not to say anything special, just to hear that same calm tone again. Maybe to thank him. Or maybe to find out who he really was when he wasn't playing a part. But I didn't. I wouldn't. Instead, I poured another cup of coffee I didn't need, turned off my phone, and told myself it was over, that it was nothing. But that night, lying in bed, I could still feel the rhythm of that dance, the warmth of his hand, the steady pulse of someone I wasn't supposed to care about. And for the first time in a long while, I realized I didn't feel alone. I felt haunted. I tossed and turned all night. Sleep wasn't coming. 2 years since my last date. 2 years since I'd even let anyone close. At some point, I decided dating just wasn't for me. I used to laugh about it. The way I could walk past men staring and not even blink, like I was immune to all that. But that was after Dennis. Dennis was a disaster. He had a way of breaking you quietly, making you question your worth while smiling through it. He once told me I'd never find a reasonable man, that I was too selfish, too proud. And then, to crown it all, he invited me to his wedding, just so he could watch me squirm, mock me one last time. But thank goodness I was ahead of his little game. No, thank goodness I picked the right guy for the job, because somehow, that fake boyfriend of mine, that perfect act, had become something else. Now he was living rent-free in my head. Every smile, every glance, every word. And I hated that it felt good. There were a dozen things I needed to do. Grocery shopping, laundry, anything to keep my mind busy. So I went out. Then, just as I was crossing the street, my phone buzzed. One simple text from him. You forgot something. My heart skipped. I typed back instantly, quick, slightly breathless voice. What did I forget? There was a pause, long enough to make me regret replying. Then it came. Me. I stopped right there on the sidewalk, cars honking, people. It felt like the air around me shifted, the same way it did when he smiled at that wedding. I didn't reply. But every second after that felt like a slow war inside me. My mind said, don't do it. My heart said, just one text won't hurt. And then, my phone buzzed again. Kelvin, can we meet tomorrow? For a moment, I just stared at the screen. The words looked so ordinary, but they hit different. I could almost hear his voice when I read them. Calm, deliberate, with that soft tease that made everything sound like a promise. I tried to keep my cool. I typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, I settled for something safe. Reading the text, slightly formal and stiff. I have a busy schedule tomorrow, but I'll let you know soon enough. I pressed send and tossed my phone aside, pretending it didn't matter, but I knew I'd already made up my mind. The truth was, I'd been waiting for that text all day, waiting for a reason to see him again, to tell myself it was still just business, even though it hadn't felt that way in a long time. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Somewhere between guilt and excitement, I realized something dangerous. I didn't want this to end just yet. I don't know why I said yes. Maybe because I hadn't stopped thinking about him since that dance. Or maybe because I wanted to convince myself it was just curiosity. Either way, there I was, sitting across from Kelvin, in a little Italian restaurant tucked in the corner of downtown. He looked different, less polished, more real. Just a man, in a gray sweater, soft eyes, and a quiet smile that didn't need effort. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel the urge to hide behind sarcasm. We talked about music, about the smell of rain, about why people pretend not to miss what they once had. And every time I looked up, he was already looking at me. Not like I was a challenge to win, but like I was someone worth listening to. Then he said something I didn't expect. You know what's funny? People hire me to make them feel wanted, but you don't seem like someone who needs that. I laughed softly, tilting my head. Oh, trust me, everyone needs that once in a while. He leaned closer, eyes soft, searching. So tell me, why did you do it? He's your ex, right? That question hit me like a punch to the gut. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. My voice felt small. You already know why. I muttered. I'm trying to sound casual, but feeling ridiculously exposed. Then he laughed. Not the polite, restrained kind, but a full, loud, heart-from-the-stomach laugh that turned heads. I blinked, surprised. What's funny? I asked, a little embarrassed. Half embarrassed. He leaned in, lowering his voice. Did I tell you what your ex whispered to me during the reception? I frowned. No. What did he say? Kelvin's smile widened. He asked me how I cope with your farts while you sleep. My jaw dropped. He did not. Oh, he did, Kelvin said, grinning. So I leaned right back and whispered, mine are louder. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing. Loud, ugly, unrestrained laughter. It echoed through the restaurant, bouncing off the glasses and walls. For a few seconds, we forgot everyone else existed. Then he looked at me, still smiling, but softer now. You don't deserve him, he said quietly. You're special, and only a man who knows that will ever be worthy of you. Tears threatened at the corners of my eyes. In my head, I couldn't stop asking, when was this man created? Where has he been all my life? He leaned back, eyes still on me, and for a heartbeat too long, it didn't feel like a line. It felt like truth. The night went on. He paid for dinner, even though technically I'd already paid for him. And as we stepped out, the city lights fell across his face in a way that made me wish time would stop, right there. When he opened the car door for me, I caught my reflection in the window, smiling. The kind of smile you can't fake. And that's when it hit me. This was never supposed to feel real. But it did. After that night, something changed. We didn't talk about the arrangement anymore. No payment reminders, no scheduled appearances, just messages, calls, walks that stretched till midnight. He'd tell me about books he'd never finished, places he wanted to visit someday. But every time I asked when, he'd smile that quiet smile and say, "Someday's a good word. It makes you believe there's still time." I didn't question it at first, maybe because I didn't want to break the spell. But sometimes, when I caught him staring at nothing, that still, far-away look, I felt a chill, like he was standing somewhere I couldn't reach. One night, as we sat in his car overlooking the city, I asked, "So, what happens when this ends?" He didn't answer right away, just kept watching the skyline, his fingers tapping gently on the steering wheel. Finally, he said softly, "Then you'll go on with your life and I'll go on with mine." "Right," I said, forcing a small laugh. A clearly forced small laugh. Simple as that. He turned to me, his voice lower now. It should be. And for a moment, just a flicker, I thought I saw sadness in his eyes. Not the kind that comes from loss, but the kind that comes from knowing something the other person doesn't. It happened on a quiet Sunday afternoon. We were sitting by the lake, the one just outside town where the ducks never seem to care about human drama. I was tracing circles in the sand with a stick, while Kelvin lay back on the grass, eyes half closed, soaking in the breeze. Then, out of nowhere, I said, slightly pensive, curious tone, "So, do you think Dennis is happy?" He opened one eye. "Your ex?" "Yeah," I murmured. "He's married now, probably on his second honeymoon by this time. But sometimes I wonder, did he ever really love me, or was I just convenient?" Kelvin didn't answer right away. He just kept watching the water ripple, like he was afraid to break something fragile. Finally, he said, "Love doesn't vanish, Tara. People do. They run out of time, or courage, or truth. But the feeling, it lingers." I smiled faintly. "That's poetic. You sound like a man who's been in love." He turned to me then, and for the first time his smile didn't reach his eyes. A clear shift in tone, becoming deeply serious. "I have been," he said softly. "Still am, in a way. But love's tricky when you don't have time for it." Alarmed, sitting up. "What do you mean, don't have time?" I asked, sitting up. He looked away, exhaled slowly, and picked up a small pebble, tossing it into the water. The ripples spread wide, soft, endless, fading. "Let's just say, I've learned how to make moments count, because sometimes that's all you get." Something in my chest twisted. He was right there, and yet, for the first time, he felt impossibly far. I didn't press him after that. But for the rest? That question, what did he mean by no time, haunted me for days. Every silence between us suddenly felt heavier. He'd laugh at my jokes, but it was always just a beat too late, like his mind was somewhere else entirely. Sometimes I'd catch him watching me, not in that adoring way he used to, but like someone trying to memorize a face before the lights go out. He'd ask strange questions, too. "What's the happiest you've ever been? If you could freeze one moment in your life, which would it be?" I'd laugh, call him dramatic. He'd just smile that quiet, unreadable smile. And I swear, there were nights I could feel something he wasn't saying sitting between us like a ghost. Then one evening, I opened his car's glove box looking for gum and found a small orange bottle. The label was torn off, but I caught the faint print of a hospital logo before he quickly snatched it away. "Hey, what's that?" "Just vitamins," he said, too fast. Then he kissed me. It was so fast I couldn't resist. I mean, why would I resist his kiss when I'd imagined it for days? I completely forgot about what I saw. That quickly drifted us into a magical night. The night faded into morning light, soft, quiet, almost unreal. I sat on the edge of the bed. I think I need to slow down everything in my head. I mean, then out of nowhere, the panic crept in. "You were supposed to be an act. What do you think this is? Is it even real?" He smiled, that same calm, steady smile that could melt the sharpest doubt. Then he reached out, brushed my hair from my face, and said, "From the day I stepped into your space, I knew you were special. Through every rehearsal, every pretend kiss, desire screamed at me, but I had to keep it professional. I love you, Tara. Always remember that. My chest tightened. Part of me wanted to believe him. The other part whispered, "Don't fall for something that was never meant to last."